Condemned killer Tabron Honey's last-ditch effort to avoid execution fails.
Plus, protests over the controversial presidential election in Venezuela are having a ripple effect across the globe. How Utahns with Venezuelan ties are reacting.
Continued smoky skies across much of northern Utah, even parts of central Utah, as wildfires burn across the western United States. When the smoke will go away and when the monsoon will come to play.
And with time running out, a women's rugby player from Salt Lake wins USA the bronze in a very close Olympic match with Australia. I spoke with her husband about this historic moment.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News Live at 5 starts now.
I am going to grant the motion to dismiss.
A condemned Utah killer's latest effort to block his execution is rejected. Tabron Honey is inching closer to the ultimate punishment.
That means Utah is now 9 days away from its first execution since 2010. Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow was in court today.
A judge threw out a lawsuit filed by Honey's lawyers challenging the state's execution protocols.
The potential injury he identifies is speculative at best. For these reasons, I am granting UDC's motion to dismiss.
The judge sided with the state as it seeks to execute Tabron Honey for the 1998 murder of Claudia Ben. Honey's lawyers originally sued over an experimental 3-drug cocktail the state wanted to use to put him to death. But the Utah Department of Corrections says it agreed to switch drugs at the request of Honey's lawyers.
UDC has agreed to adopt Honey's identified method of execution and use a single dose of pentobarbital administered according to protocols which Honey himself has endorsed as constitutional. This book contains the protocols which UDC will use to execute Mr. Honey.
Honey's lawyers are now challenging the state's own execution protocols as outdated and vague.
What is the actual harm that Mr. Honey will suffer? I'm not talking about possible harm, the actual harm.
The actual harm is an increased and unnecessary likelihood of him being exposed to additional pain and suffering as a result of a botched execution.
The judge disagreed.
The Department of Corrections is going to carry out an execution without written or accurate protocols. I don't know why they want to do that, but it's dangerous, and we're going to evaluate our options.
Do you plan to seek an appeal to the state Supreme Court again?
We're going to evaluate our options.
Now, barring the Utah Supreme Court getting involved, Honey is scheduled to be executed at midnight on August 8th. At the Matheson Courthouse, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
West Nile virus has been detected in mosquitoes in the cities of Draper and Riverton.
The mosquitoes that tested positive for the virus in Draper were found near Vista Station Boulevard. There have been no reports of humans being impacted by the recent discovery of West Nile virus. The city of Draper said it will be fogging the river basin and Vista Station business complex, but there are no plans to do so in residential areas. Residents are urged to use mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, keep standing water drained, and keep windows and doors shut.
In world news this afternoon, unrest is growing in Venezuela after election authorities declared leftist President Nicolas Maduro the winner in voting the right claims to have won by a landslide. Now the protests have left at least 7 people dead.
Hundreds of people have also been arrested in the clashes. Fox 13 News anchor Amy Nay spoke to Utahns with Venezuelan ties who say they are watching the situation closely.
Okay. On State Street in Salt Lake City, you'll find a touch of South America.
We're all from Venezuela. We came here 25 years ago.
Eric Pernilla is co-owner of Arepas, a taste of home.
We have the fortune to have many customers come here and enjoy the food that they used to get back home, where the mothers are still at.
But it's what's happening at home that has Pernilla and his family heartbroken.
And when Chavez came into power, Mom somehow foresaw what was going to happen, and she said, we're out of here.
Hugo Chavez was the president of Venezuela, succeeded by Nicolas Maduro. Maduro and his opposition rival, Edmundo Gonzalez, both claimed victory Monday after a vote marred by accusations of corruption and violence.
It's really sad to see our own people taking advantage of not only our lower class and our poor people, but also our elderly. And that's really the sad part is it's just bullying. at this point, you know? And so what we want is we just want to free Venezuela. We just want a fair chance in a fair election, and that was taken from us.
There's been rioting in the capital city of Caracas with multiple people reported dead.
Now it's becoming a literal war zone, and people are up in arms.
If he have the power, Maduro have all the power, Air Force, Navy, all the military power, he can do that whatever they want.
Ephraim Osorno is a professional snowboarder now here in Utah, originally from Venezuela.
It's really, really hard, but we want all the Venezuelan people. We want to be freedom. We want to be live in peace.
But he says with the current regime he believes is corrupt, that's no longer an option.
And I miss home, absolutely, but it's impossible to live now.
Pernia agrees and says despite a sometimes tumultuous downtown location and recent troubled times, he and his family continue to grow and expand their business, always offering a safe haven for Venezuelans and everyone to come together.
So many different things that have happened here. I mean, riots, crazy stuff, COVID, all sorts of things, right? We always pride ourselves of being a safe place for everybody because we didn't have a safe place, and Utah became our safe place. So no matter what the situation is, we want everyone to know that Olympus is a safe place for you to come and enjoy something, even though the world outside might be creating absolute, chaos.
Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In Ogden, a man and a police officer were taken to the hospital after both were involved in a crash this morning.
It happened just before 8 a.m. at the intersection of 21st Street and Monroe Boulevard. Police say the driver, a man in his early 50s, ran a stop sign and crashed into the officer's patrol car, causing it to spin off the road and into a building. The driver was cited for a stop sign violation. Both the officer and the civilian suffered minor injuries.
Ogden police have identified the cyclist killed by a garbage truck yesterday morning as 31-year-old Charlie Hodgson. Investigators say Hodgson was in the crosswalk at 12th Street and Wall Avenue when the truck turned right and hit him. The driver told police he didn't see the cyclist, who died on scene.
Navajo Nation President Boo Nygren has deployed police to stop a truck carrying uranium ore across Navajo land. President Nygren says the lack of notification about the trip was, quote, a blatant disregard for our tribal sovereignty. The ore is mined on the southern rim of the Grand Canyon and is trucked to Utah's White Mesa Mill for processing. In May, President Biden signed the Prohibiting Russian Uranium Imports Act, phasing out imports and banning them by 2028. Navajo President Nygren has signed a resolution asking that uranium no longer be shipped across Navajo tribal lands. The USA women's rugby team beat the Australians in a real nail-biter earlier at the Olympics in Paris.
And Salt Lake City native Spiff Cedric was the hero of the match. There she is right there. On the final play with no time left on the clock, she ran the length of the pitch to score the final try that won the match. It was the first time in history the USA women have medaled in rugby. Spiff is the wife of Utahn Keegan Barnes, who met her while they were both playing rugby in high school in the Salt Lake Valley. I spoke to Keegan over Zoom this afternoon.
I was obviously up in the stands. I heard her calling from for the ball up in the stands, and we all kind of knew, as soon as that ball got in her hands, and I saw her slip out of that tackle, like I've seen her do a million times over the years, and I knew as soon as that happened that it was going down. Sorry, dude, you're gonna make me cry on this interview. This is all fresh. So, but yeah, man, it was amazing. Getting to see her run the full length of the pitch. She's put a lot of work into this, and so just really fills my heart to see her have her moment. And yeah, she deserves it more than anybody.
Spiff also scored in the matches leading up to the bronze medal match with Australia today. She really has become the darling of USA women's rugby. Full disclosure here, Keegan and Spiff are dear friends of our family. And I got to tell you, there was a whole lot of screaming at the top of our lungs at our house today, the good kind. By the way, we'll have more with Keegan coming up tonight on Fox 13 News at 9, where he'll explain how his wife Spiff got the name Spiff. You won't want to miss that. Only tonight on Fox 13 News at 9.
I was thinking that's a cute nickname.
It
Spiff.
is. Yeah.
She's got some extra spiff around her neck now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or you
oh,
could
my
say,
goodness.
Say it was a spiffy run.
Yeah, it sure was.
Boy,
sure was.
That's wonderful. Great news. Hey, I've got some smoke to tell you about. You probably know about this. You probably don't want to know about it, but there's more smoke in the forecast. Those wildfires are burning like crazy, especially the Park Fire. It's now at 383,000 acres, and the smoke from it is pushing over the Beehive State. So here's where we will be at 2 a.m. Yeah, a lot of that smoke coming in during the morning. It'll be around in the morning, fairly thick smoke in the morning. And then the good news is this all starts to kind of pull apart. So by Thursday, the smoke will be thinning, but it will still be around, unfortunately. And here's what it looks like outside. It doesn't look very good from the Intermountain camera. It's just very, very smoky. Okay, and I looked at the latest readings. We're orange all across Salt Lake and Box Elder. All of our counties are in the orange. Our temperatures, well, they're in the low 90s. Enjoy the low 90s because it's going to get hotter. The winds are blowing, and unfortunately, that's bringing in the red flag warning. 68 tonight and smoky conditions tomorrow. Guess what? The smoky conditions, 94 for the high, but it is going to get much hotter, and the monsoon moisture is going to make a move. I'll let you know where it's going, when it's going to arrive here, coming up.
Dan, thank you. Who will join Kamala Harris on the Democratic presidential ticket? See who's likely at the top of her list.
A big safety warning for you if you drive a Tesla. Why the hood could fly up and block your view while you're driving.
And do you have denim in your closet that's in need of a refresh? Ahead, see who will let you trade in your old clothes for a discount on new ones. Coming up. Now to the race for the White House. More attention is being paid to who will be Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate. They'll face former President Donald Trump and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
Scripps News political senior correspondent Joe St. George breaks down who could wind up in the Democratic VP spot.
Vice President Kamala Harris announcing a $50 million ad buy on Tuesday. But it's not that announcement that the political world is waiting for. It's who her vice presidential pick will be. The list of potential picks is a bit shorter now. The governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, has taken himself out of the running, saying it's not the right time for him or for North Carolina. Political odds makers at the website Odds Checker listing Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro as the favorite right now, followed by Arizona Senator Mark Kelly and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Walz has gained popularity in some progressive circles in recent days, following various interviews in which he called the Trump-Vance ticket, quote, weird, but Walz does have a liberal-leaning record in Minnesota, which some Democrats have pointed to as being a potential liability when trying to curry favor with moderates. Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona has advantages as well, including being from a border state, an issue that is deemed a vulnerability for Democrats this cycle. He's also married to Gabby Giffords, who was nearly killed in a mass shooting in 2011. He can speak about gun violence in ways that few can in American politics today. But some labor unions have questioned why it took Senator Kelly so long for him to sign on to a pro-labor union bill in Congress, and scrutiny is beginning over some of his past business dealings. As for the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro hails from a state with 19 electoral college votes, making him a popular choice with some Democrats, but not all. A Democratic candidate for state treasurer in Pennsylvania has called on someone else to be picked, voicing concerns about how his office handled a sexual harassment investigation involving a former aide. Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to make her announcement known by August 7th. Former Attorney General Eric Holder is actively involved in the vetting process. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
The director of Project 2025, Paul Dans, is stepping down. That is the controversial plan devised by the Heritage Foundation to guide a second Donald Trump presidency. It has become a political football, with Democrats liking its right-wing overhauls directly to the former president. Trump has worked to distance himself from Project 2025, saying, quote, "I have no idea who is behind it." It's worth noting that the director of Project 2025 served as a top official in the Trump administration back when it was in the White House. The Trump campaign today continued to slam Project 2025, saying reports of its demise would be, quote, greatly welcomed.
Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, has agreed to a $1.4 billion settlement with the state of Texas. The social media giant was being sued over claims that it used and sold users' biometric data, such as their face print or fingerprint, without their permission. The company announced in 2021 that it was shutting down its face recognition system and deleting the face prints of more than 1 billion users amid growing concerns about the technology.
Police in the United Kingdom now say 3 girls were stabbed to death, 8 others were injured in one of the worst assaults against children in the country in decades. The attack took place last night at a Taylor Swift-themed event at a dance school. The girls who died were 6, 7, and 9 years old. A 17-year-old was arrested for the stabbing. Taylor Swift herself now weighing in, saying on her Instagram page, the stabbing left her completely in shock and, quote, these were just little kids at a dance class. I am at a complete loss for how to ever convey my sympathies to these families.
Israel carried out a strike in Beirut today. At least 1 person was killed and several others injured. The Israeli military says it was targeting the commander of the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, who is said to be responsible for this weekend's rocket attack on Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, which killed 12 young people. This is the first time since January that Israel has targeted Beirut when an airstrike killed a top Hamas official.
The Park Fire in California has now become the 5th largest in state's history. The fire has burned down more than 100 structures. It's scorched 380,000 acres so far. Roughly 5,000 firefighters are battling the blaze. Cal Fire says the hot and dry weather this week is going to make things difficult, but they are looking forward to some potential rain this weekend that could really help. The man arrested for allegedly starting the Park Fire, Ronnie Stout II, has officially now been charged with arson.
Boy, it is tough out in California with that huge fire, and we're having to deal with dangerous fire conditions here in Utah. In fact, we've got the smoke and the haze all over the place.
Everywhere, it's all over. And there's been another fire start in Colorado. So it's right next to the Alexander fire that started yesterday. So, I mean, these wildfires, it just takes nothing. And when they start, they run quickly. And we've got to be very aware of that. And I'll talk more about the smoke in a minute. But I want to show you, last night the sun erupted with a solar flare and sent the aurora to Oregon. This is what it looked like in north central Oregon. Steve Luther sent in that picture. But how about John Bartlett? He caught a glimpse of this in northern Utah, the aurora. Now, it might be present again tonight. Skies will be clear enough, except for that smoke that's out there. You want to get away from the city lights. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is the best time, although he said he saw that particular aurora right around 4 a.m. So things can be really different when you have to get out late at night to see the aurora. Very rare, but there have been some solar flares that have really been popping lately. A little bit of rain coming into Yellowstone Park and Teton National Park. There's a front that has gone by, and that is bringing a few clouds to northern Utah. No rain with it, unfortunately. Not a lot of smoke in southern Utah. Most of it's been staying in the north, and that may be the way it stays for a while. 100 degrees in St. George, but boy, it is just really smoky here. And we've got that coming all the way across California from the Pacific Northwest, and the humidity is low, and the winds are at 16 miles per hour. It's all a combination for wildfires and, unfortunately, smoky conditions. 94 in Vernal, a bit windy across southwest Wyoming. We have some winds here in southern Utah across the area near Milford. So let's look at the gusts. Salt Lake Valley, there's that wind coming out of the north. You can see it right here. But as we go to central Utah and we look at southwest Wyoming, 32, 33 mile per hour wind gusts there in Evanston, 25 in Vernal, some wind gusts there in Milford, 28. 26 in Cedar City, and 30 miles per hour Bryce Canyon. So all of the ingredients are there for a fire to start, and this would be a fire that starts and would spread very rapidly until 10 p.m. tonight. So please be aware of that. Here's the upper low moving by. Here's the wind flow bringing that smoke in across northern Utah. And here we go. A little bit of monsoon moisture as the Four Corners high sets up. This is classic for us. This is normally what happens. When that monsoon moisture starts to go up into California, goes into Arizona, and then it starts to work its way into Utah on Saturday and on Sunday. Look at that. We actually may have a chance for a little bit of rain. The problem is these high pressure is so big, so gargantuan, it's going to get really hot. Not tomorrow. Still smoky, 94, vernal 94. And 7-day forecast for St. George, 104, 106, 105. There's a slight chance for a thunderstorm Friday. A little higher chance Saturday and Sunday with isolated storms Monday and Tuesday, highs 104 to 107. Now, Salt Lake City, Ogden, Provo, and the Wasatch Front, 100 Thursday, 104 Friday. And then we'll have a slight chance for some thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. That'll push the highs back to the mid-upper 90s, but we will be near 100 with isolated thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday of next week. So take a deep breath, except for when it's smoky. And sorry about the heat. It's kind of coming at us. We'll be back.
Welcome back, everyone. In Fox 13 News Money Watch this evening, the U.S. is making history, and not necessarily in a good way.
For the first time ever, the national debt has gone above $35 trillion. The grim marker arrived quicker than most economists had predicted, and the Congressional Budget Office said last month the national debt is poised to top $56 trillion by 2034. Last month, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the country's debt was relatively reasonable considering the size of the economy. America hasn't been able to cut back on borrowing due to rising costs of federal programs and lawmakers failing to enact budget cuts.
There is bad news for would-be home buyers. This may just blow you away. A new report out from Zillow found the average starter home will cost you more than $1 million in 237 cities across the country.
Out!
Starter home here.
Starter home.
It's insane.
More than $1 million.
It's disturbing. About half of those cities are in California, while 31 are in New York, two of the highest priced states in the nation. Zillow defined a starter home as being among those in the lowest third of home values in a given region. The report found that just 5 years ago, only 84 cities had starter homes above $1 million. But the pandemic and a housing supply shortage drove prices up 54% since 2019. The median age of a first-time homebuyer, by the way, last year was 35 years old.
Wow, that's nuts. Well, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has issued a recall notice for nearly 2 million Teslas because of a hood issue. The notice says there is a risk the car's software could fail to detect an unlatched hood. That could cause the hood to suddenly fly open and obstruct the driver's view. Impacted vehicles include the Model S, Model X, Model 3, and Model Y from 2017 to 2024. Tesla has released a software update to fix the issue. No injuries have been reported.
Target is launching its first denim take-back event happening in early August. Just in time for back-to-school shopping, customers can recycle their old denim clothing and get 20% off a new denim item with the Target Circle Rewards program. From August 4th through the 10th, you can recycle up to 5 items in any condition at marked in-store boxes for a Target Circle promo code of 20% off. The discount can be used on Target store brands like Universal Thread and Wild Fable, or national brands like Levi's. You can get a Target Circle account for free online or on the Target app.
It was a mixed day on Wall Street with tech stocks dropping some. The Dow gained 203 points to close at 40,743. The tech-heavy NASDAQ lost 223 points, and the S&P shed 27.
Salt Lake City High Schools installed weapons detection systems last fall to help keep students and staff safe. But now a big change could alter how these machines are used in these schools.
After dealing with construction for years, now getting hit with vandalism, one Sugar House business is turning to the community for help.
It's been over 2 years since 2 Eagle Mountain boys were allegedly hit and killed by a man driving high on meth. In court Tuesday, defense attorneys tried to push the trial back. The reason why, coming up.
A defense attorney's personal matters could have delayed the trial of the man accused of killing 2 Eagle Mountain 3-year-olds.
Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser explains the reason behind the delay and the judge's reaction to the request.
In court Tuesday, the Utah County Public Defender Association tried to argue on behalf of Kent Cody Barlow's defense attorney. 2.5 weeks ago, Benjamin Aldana told the court that he had just been told his father only had 4 to 8 weeks to live. His association said Aldana's father's cancer diagnosis has a, quote, significant impact on his mental and emotional well-being. He said he can't be the advocate for Barlow he needs to have over the next couple of months. The judge says this case can't be pushed.
I've presided over this case since its inception. I have ruled on the numerous issues that have come before the court regarding legal issues, discovery issues. I know this case, and that historical knowledge is necessary.
The Public Defenders Association says their office is understaffed and claims the case is too complex for someone to take over now. They said Aldana's personal leave is 8 weeks. Despite their many arguments and sometimes even interruptions, the judge ordered them to appoint counsel. Both Hunter Jackson and Odin Ratliff's mother sent in victims' statements expressing their compassion for Aldana's situation, but saying enough delays have occurred already and their sons' deaths were over 2 years ago. Jury selection is scheduled to start September 16th. Reporting in Provo, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
When we put them in this last fall, we knew that it would be on a trial basis, so they were on a trial basis for a short time, and now we're working on figuring out what the next steps are.
3 Salt Lake City high schools, East, Highland, and West High, and Horizonte Instruction and Training Center all installed weapons detection systems last fall to help keep students and staff safe. I'm Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gobi. Now the district has decided not to fund staffing for these machines going into the next school year.
We covered the funding for 1 year out of savings, knowing that there would be an application period for a school safety grant. So we were hoping to get that funding, but unfortunately it didn't happen this time.
Yandri Chatwin with the Salt Lake City School District tells me they applied for a school safety grant from the Utah State Board of Education. USBE says the district did not meet the criteria for funding. We spoke with Carmen Nesbitt, a reporter at the Salt Lake Tribune, who has been following this story and spoke with the state board.
And they explained that it was rejected because they believed that the proposal basically amounted to supplanting funds, which is, using money towards a purpose that has already, designated funds for.
On July 9th,
item number 2 on our discussion agenda is the 2024-25 Weapon Detection System staffing contract.
The Salt Lake City School District Board voted 4-3 against spending $1.5 million from their own fund to staff the system. Board members who voted against funding say they don't see the merit of weapon detectors in the first place and are not convinced of their efficacy. The school district says that these are working.
Is it the perfect end-all be-all tool? No, nothing really is, but we're doing everything that we can.
So now the machines will stay in place since they're on a 4-year lease, but there won't be trained professionals who make the machines effective.
Some schools may have room in their budgets to fund staffing on their own, just at their one school. Some schools may choose to use these at extracurricular events like sporting events or maybe for dances on the campus.
Hoping they can find a way to continue to make sure school is a safe place.
Just because you may not see weapons detector at your child's school doesn't mean that we're not prioritizing their safety. As I mentioned, we are always looking for the latest technologies, the best practices to implement in our schools.
In Salt Lake City, I am Maithili Gobi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
An officer with the Spanish Fork Police Department has been convicted of a crime but might not lose his badge. Owen Leifson was charged earlier this year with child abuse. Yesterday, he accepted a plea deal which reduced the charge from child abuse to disorderly conduct. According to the Salem Police Department, it all started when he got caught having an extramarital affair. Investigators say he grabbed a child's arm, put it behind her, grabbed her by the back of the neck, and bruised her thigh. As part of the plea deal, Leifson is being fined $340 and will not have to spend any time in jail. He also was suspended without pay for 10 days, but allowed to return as an animal control officer, not as a Spanish Fork police officer.
Owen's a good person. We all sometimes make bad choices, mistakes in our life. And if he gets everything worked out, then we're happy to bring him back to work.
Officer Leifson declined to speak to Fox 13 News after court. Over the past few months, we found this case is not the first time Leifson has been under investigation. Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbets will have a full report tonight on Fox 13 News at 9.
In Lehigh, a UHP trooper arrested a Draper man after he was caught going 123 miles an hour on I-15 late last night. Court documents indicate 21-year-old Ethan Shuptrin was speeding in a blue Chevy Corvette that he was renting. Shuptrin admitted to the trooper who pulled him over that he was trying to impress his passenger. He was also driving on a suspended license.
It's more of a passion rather than obsession, if you will.
I'm Mark Blaine in downtown Salt Lake City on 300 South, a little over a block away from the Rio Grande Depot. Back in the day, it welcomed visitors to the heart of Salt Lake City, but it hasn't been used for trains for years. However, there's a group of local citizens who want to bring the Rio Grande back to its glory.
The coolest fact that I found out is that the marble here on the bottom is the same marble that is on the Lincoln Memorial. And I thought that was one of the coolest things.
For the last couple of years, crews have been working to make the historic depot earthquake resistant. A group of citizens would like to see that renovation go even further. Frederick Jenny, the director of engagement for the all-volunteer group behind the Rio Grande plan, is pushing for the depot to once again become the city's transit hub for train traffic, replacing Salt Lake Central Station. The other big component of the plan that the group has been trying to sell to city and state leaders since 2020, the concept of a train box with train tracks below street level that would eliminate the train crossings in the downtown area.
Improves the flow of traffic for pedestrians, cyclists, and auto traffic. It essentially removes the chance of a train sitting there. It removes the chance of someone being hit by a train. It essentially increases safety, and it opens up quite the opportunity for a redevelopment of the rail yard, which with a growing population, a housing crisis, that can be quite advantageous for everybody here.
Jenny says the group hopes to convince city and state leaders to come up with the funding for the multi-billion-dollar project, with the goal of seeing it complete in time for the 2034 Winter Olympics. If you'd like to learn more about the Rio Grande plan, the group, along with the city, is hosting an informational meeting at the Sorensen Multicultural Center on September 12th at 6 p.m. From downtown Salt Lake City, Mark Blaine, Fox 13 News, Utah.
After dealing with construction for years, one Sugar House business is now getting hit with vandalism. I'm Jenna Bree with Fox 13 News. Sugar House Coffee is looking to the community for help.
I hope we're not being targeted, but I just feel like right now the world is just angry.
Emily Potts says it's been a rough month for Sugar House Coffee.
One day we came in and someone decided to tag the whole south side of our building as you drive in, just their same name multiple times. Just wanted everyone to know who they were.
On top of the graffiti, she says last Friday morning, a car ran over their parking lot fence.
We had someone ram through our fence, break 3 posts, rip it out of the ground, and then had the fence land on one of our regular customers' nice truck's bumper. And then they just kept driving. They drove through the parking lot, didn't stop.
Thankfully, she says city workers came to paint over the graffiti.
They were here the next morning before we opened and had painted it. And the color match is pretty good. We also had a few people want to do a mural, so hopefully next year we'll do a collaborative mural with the community and make it look pretty.
But they still haven't caught the driver of the black SUV who wrecked the fence.
Big corporate businesses, when their fence falls down, it's not a big deal. But for us, $3,000 to fix this fence is a big deal right now.
She says ever since construction started, business has been down. But now more than ever, Sugar House Coffee needs support.
Sugar House as a whole is a special community. We have kept the small businesses. The community, both residents and business owners, we're all very tight. We are trying really hard to fight for this community. I love it. I get asked a lot to open up a second location, but Sugar House Coffee wouldn't be the same anywhere else. I just love this community, and we're here to stay as long as you keep supporting us.
In Salt Lake City, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The top is from City.
The wildflowers are here at Albion Basin, and they are absolutely beautiful. I'll show you how you can take in nature's beauty while also respecting the area.
Plus, there's a pretty cool event happening in Springville this week.
We will show you the sights and sounds of the World Folk Festival.
A lot of smoke in the air, but there's a new wildfire start in southern Utah. It's near Beaver in the North Creek area. I have a photo of it, and I'll show you where I believe it is coming up in just a couple of minutes.
This year, we're looking at peak season right about now.
I'm Fox 13 News reporter Darian DeBrule. It's a beautiful and popular time of year here at Albion Basin, but there's a way you can take in the beauty of these wildflowers while also respecting the area. Out of all the places this group of gals has hiked, Carolyn Key says Albion Basin during wildflower season is among the best.
Don't tell our secret to too many people. We don't want that many people to come. But if you do come, you have to come here to the Albion Basin and do the hike all the way up to Sunset Peak. It's amazing.
Every week, thousands and thousands of people come to the basin to enjoy the stunning views and wildflowers.
I know the lupine, the purple flower, and there's a pink flower that I'm like, I've got to find the name because it's just so beautiful.
But with popularity also comes the risk of over-enjoyment.
You're not supposed to go off trail, and you're not really supposed to pick any of the flowers. And, you see people do it.
This is a place of incredible natural beauty that is vulnerable to human destruction.
Alta Mayor Roger Burke and his wife Margaret are two of many who have spent years working to preserve the beauty and the ecosystem of Albion Basin.
To the extent that we are walking in areas where there are wildflowers, we can prevent those from actually going to seed, and the seed is what's necessary for that to come back the next year.
To protect the wildflowers, the Forest Service has set up ropes and created designated photo places for those who are trying to snap the perfect pic.
I'd like everyone to enjoy the flowers but respect them, and also respect who else uses the flowers. So that would be the bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, deer.
The Forest Service wants the flowers to bloom for generations to come, which is why they're asking people to follow a few simple rules while taking in all the beauty.
If you could stay on the trail at all times, please don't pick the flowers. Take all your trash with you, and then make sure you read all the signs at the trailhead so that you know how you can best behave while you're up there.
I just think it's really important to respect what we're being asked to do to preserve this beautiful paradise.
At Albion Basin, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Hi there, I'm Fox 13's Robin O'Guinier here at Springville High School. We're giving you a look at what you can expect at World Folk Fest starting Wednesday, and it runs through Saturday. I'm here with Tara Ayer to tell us more about it. Now, is it free? Like, give me the logistics.
It does cost. It's about $14 a ticket. We have 3 stages going on. We've got some musicians, we have an interactive show, and this main show on Friday and Saturday night. But we're here Wednesday through Saturday, and our dancers are from all over the world. They don't live here.
That's right. So $14 to see all of these really amazing performances. Not bad. I want to go through and see if I can name all the countries. So we're starting over here with Ukraine, Taiwan, Poland, Montenegro, Colombia, Bulgaria, Austria. All right, a rousing response from Austria. So what else can people expect when they come out Wednesday through Saturday?
Wednesday through Saturday, we have food vendors from around the world. The countries will be selling things from their countries that you can come and buy, so you can get some merch from everywhere around the world. So it's really just one world on one stage. You come and you eat the food, You buy the stuff, you watch them perform. They all dance together, opening and closing, because we really are bringing one world together here at World Folk Fest.
That's right, and we're getting ready to see that opening number dance in which they all dance with each other, which is really cool to see. So unless you have anything you want to add, Tara, we'll let them take it away.
Just come and play with us at World Folk Fest. It's the best party in Utah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. All right, guys. It's all happening right here at Springville High School World Folk Fest. $14, and you can see all of these really cool, amazing performances right here in Springville. Robin O'Guinye, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, that looks fun, doesn't it?
It does. I want to yell, Opa!
Opa!
With all the music and dancing. And that festival is indoors.
Yes.
Where it'll be cooler.
Yeah, where there's air conditioning.
That's right, and that filters the air.
That's right.
You know what, there's a problem. We have a new wildfire start, and I have a photo of it. This was just sent to our Utah's Weather Authority Facebook page. Thank you so much, very, very much to Drew Stack. He says this is a wildfire in the North Creek area, northeast of Beaver. So let me show you where this is, somewhere in this area. Utah wildfire, so far it hasn't reported on this, but it's in this zone right here. This is Beaver, this is I-15. Somewhere in this area. These are the Tusher Mountains right here. It's in these foothills. So hopefully we're not going to see any really bad fires associated with it. In fact, to the north, we have a little bit of rain. We have a little cold front coming in. That, along with the presence of a low pressure system, is keeping us a little bit cooler today and tomorrow. But after that goes by, a ridge of high pressure comes in, and it's here to stay. Unfortunately, wind and low humidity is causing the red air quality, or what we call the red flag warning. The air quality is not good, but the red flag warning, and it of course is in effect there in Beaver, where we've got this new wildfire start. And the winds are blowing in the Salt Lake Valley. The winds are blowing up to 32 miles per hour. In Evanston, we have 28 mile per hour wind gusts there. In looks like Price, and 25 in Vernal, 21 in Roosevelt. Wind gusts over in Milford are right at 28, 26 in Cedar City, 30 at Bryce Canyon. So these winds, along with the hot temperatures and the dry conditions, giving us that unfortunate situation of wildfire potential. Now, the low pressure that is moving by right now, it'll skedaddle off to the east. This ridge is starting to build, and it is building quickly, but it's forming in a way that it's going to start pulling up tropical moisture. This is the monsoon, and monsoon is defined as a wind shift. It's not necessarily defined as rain, but when that monsoon, that wind shift happens, it starts to pull the moisture up from Sonora, Mexico, from the Gulf of Mexico, and all the way across and into Utah starting on Friday and probably on Saturday as well. Sunday, looks like that monsoon moisture will be present as well as on Monday. So we'll be seeing hot temperatures, but also that slight chance for a little bit of thunderstorm activity. What we have to cross our fingers is that we don't get dry lightning out of this. Okay, highs in the 90s and 80s in the north, higher elevations like Park City in the low mid 80s. Hot in southern Utah, we're going to be 104, then 106, and then isolated thunderstorms Friday with scattered storms on Saturday and Sunday. That'll cool us down a little. We're back to 107 Monday with a slight chance for thunderstorms both days. So tomorrow it is going to be sunny and smoky, 94 degrees, getting much, much hotter for us, and monsoon moisture makes that move northward. So here we go. 95 tomorrow, 100 on Thursday, still smoky both of those days, and then on Friday 104. Now, with that slight chance for thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday, back to the mid-upper 90s, and then isolated chances for showers and thunder showers Monday and Tuesday with highs again around 100 degrees. So hot with a little monsoon moisture, the smoke goes away. Those are the words the weatherman has to say today.
These two are talking about going on cruises.
That would be so much fun.
It would be fun.
Wrap up the summer.
The closest we've come was up in Alaska, and we went and saw the calving of the iceberg.
Cool. I want to do that one day.
Glaciers.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
We'll see you back here at 9 o'clock.